Всі свої.
They were all from here and now they are gone.
І нема. Пів телефона треба тепер виписувати.
Now I'll have to cross out half of my phone book. I won't be able to get a hold of them in the next world.
Residents made space for more graves in a burial plot outside the Ukrainian hamlet of Hroza as they reeled from the horror of what happened the day before. At least 52 residents of this small community were killed on Thursday in perhaps the deadliest missile strike on a civilian location since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. One Kharkiv official has said that at least one child is among the dead. Meanwhile, Ukraine's defense ministry has blamed Russia for the attack and said there were no military targets in the area. Reuters spoke to a man from Hroza who lost his daughter and son-in-law in the attack, as well as friends and cousins.
It would have been better if I had died. Oh God, you cannot punish me like this. To leave the father and take the children.
His story is one example of how every family in this community has been directly affected. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights deployed a field team on Friday to speak to survivors and gather information. Local police say identifying the bodies is going to be a tough and gruesome job.
It's difficult to talk about this, but we only found bits and pieces and remains of the bodies. We're yet to identify them. We'll use DNA laboratories to identify the bodies. That's why tomorrow we'll talk to the family members and get their DNA samples. Then we'll create DNA profiles and compare.
In his nightly video address, President Volodymyr Zelensky slammed Moscow for what he called a deliberate attack.
Russian terrorists launched an attack that can't even be called an animal act because it would be an insult to animals. The deliberate rocket attack on a village in the Kharkiv region on an ordinary grocery store and cafe. The Russian military could not have been unaware of where they were hitting, and it was not a blind strike. People gathered there for a memorial meal, Christian memorial meal. Who could launch a missile at them? Who? Only absolute evil.
Moscow denies targeting civilians in its frequent airstrikes, but many have been killed in attacks that have hit residential areas as well as energy, ports, grain, and other facilities. Elizabeth Throssell, spokeswoman for the United Nations Human Rights Office, told journalists on Friday in Geneva that while it was very difficult to establish with absolute certainty what happened in Hroza, given the location, given the fact that the cafe was struck, the indications are that it was a Russian missile.
We stress once again that international humanitarian law, in particular the rules on conduct of hostilities, must be strictly respected.
The war in Ukraine continues, with defenders executing a counter-offensive in the south and east that it says is gradually making progress.